Yeah, this is good.
Look in the camera or it's you?
With me, we're just shit.
Oh, now we fucked
And now we've started shit. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Cut.
With the 2 beers.
Yeah. No, this one.
Let's just say you were holding it for me. You're being
No,
super
I'm good. I'm good.
Welcome to On The Real with Techno Tawsh, and I actually cover a lot of techno music. I speak so highly of you guys on my show. The listeners love you guys. We talk about you all the time. And actually, before you released your album In Memoro, of course, lots of tracks were released, Terminal M, Filth on Acid. What is it like to be a producer and producing for different labels? Like, what's the process when you're doing or creating a track for different labels? Is there something that you do in specific, or you kind of just do what you want to do and it doesn't really matter what label you're producing for?
I think we have like a lot of different aspects of Joyhauser. You know, we like to make every kind of techno. We're like, it's like in our sets we play a really broad style of electronic music. It's not techno per se. So also when producing music, we just like go along with the vibe, and mostly we see in the end which track fits which label, go with the flow. And
sometimes it's like you can do it bottom up and top down, you know, and sometimes it's like, okay, we're in the studio, it's like, okay, let's produce. Let's produce something. We have time. We don't have deadlines or something, and it's like, okay, and then it's like vibing and then creating something, and okay, this can maybe fit to that label or that label. And sometimes it's like, okay, Filth on Acid asking for a new EP or Terminal M, and then it's like, okay, we need to create on the label, and you're adapting it. So it's like always going up and down, and it's a different way of producing, but yeah, it's fun either both ways, you know.
You guys released In Memoro, which I've told you guys many times on Instagram. I'm like, this album is spectacular. It's such a work of art. And what was kind of the inspiration behind that? Because I know that when you tell a story from beginning to end, and not always do you open up with the first track. When you're playing a set live, I know that when I was watching you guys at Awakenings, you opened up kind of how you do your In Memoro shows. So what was the inspiration behind that, and how is it different from playing in festivals or clubs?
The inspiration was not the best time, actually. It was COVID, you know.
We started working at Memoro in COVID times.
Yeah.
But then it was like, we were like,
so much
okay,
time.
we have a lot of studio time, and we're gonna work on our album finally, because we were touring a lot before COVID. And then
it was a really big goal for us to have like a creative
But
album.
after 1 year in COVID, we realized most of our inspiration came from touring and seeing the world, and
we're a bit stuck there.
We got stuck like in 1 year, and that's why it took us so long to finish it. Like it took us like 2 years, and then COVID was done, and we got back to touring, and inspiration came back. So it's like a really like a big compilation of 3 years of like inspiration and non-inspiration sometimes.
But what we realized was like, okay, the music and going out is a really important thing in life, you know, like people going out and having the normal day and working, you know, and like everybody was like stuck, you know, and we had that too. It was like, okay, we don't have the feedback of people, and we were missing that. And when we went out again and we had sets again and playing for crowds, we had the feedback, and it's like, okay, this is the key to change the tracks. And that was super important for us. Like, okay, this is really important for us, but also for the people that going out, clubbing.
Really important for us, like seeing when a track works and which part of the track works or not. And
that was the missing key of the album, actually. And when we had that we removed some tracks, we had something like, oh, this is not important enough anymore, or not relevant. And then took some other tracks, and yeah, and then we had 12 tracks, I think. 11? 12?
I think so.
It's already 1 year ago.
And
But another important thing about the album is that we are going to do a remix EP on the label.
Oh, okay, yeah, and before we tease into the label, no, you're good. No, actually, and that's actually really interesting that you said that the COVID kind of was part of the inspiration in a way, and not having the crowd reaction, because especially like the fact that you guys were able to create something so beautiful without the crowd reaction it's really interesting, because I think that most of the time, at least maybe in other genres of music, when they're creating albums, they're not really getting a crowd reaction. So it's interesting that you kind of had that same concept in electronic music, which is not the normal thing. And in electronic music too, a lot of artists don't produce entire LPs. And so is there anything maybe you have to say on that, like the fact that you really wanted to create something that was a longer piece of work compared to, releasing singles all the time, or maybe 2-3 tracks in an EP? Or like if anybody was trying to put together an album or produce, do you have any like words of advice for new artists or up and coming to produce an album?
Everyone has his own approach to producing music. It's just what you feel at the moment. But for us, it was like touring and playing for an audience and seeing other DJs as well, and getting inspiration from other DJ sets and the vibe of the other DJ sets. And I don't know, everyone has his own approach to producing music, and that's the beauty about it. When you feel it, and that's the nicest thing. That's how you realize you're doing something you love to do.
Yeah, the thing was like In Memoro was not pure peak time techno, so we had a bit. We wanted to have like a really healthy variation of studio tracks, creative tracks, like in our own world, and also peak time techno, and that was the thing we were missing. The peak time techno was like the feedback, the energy, and when you're in the studio, it's super cool. But that was the key that we were missing. That like the energy on the people. Okay, we always try or testing the tracks, and we feel immediately when there's something missing.
Yeah.
And that was like during COVID, you didn't have any feedback, and when we had that,
props to other producers, like making music in a studio alone, like closing themselves in for like a couple of months and just making a full album. For us, it's not possible because it's a different type of music, I think.
Sure. And of course, on your album In Memoro, you have the track Wasted, big number one that everybody loves, everybody plays. You always get a crowd reaction when you see people in the crowd when you're playing it in your shows. Is there something that, or like, do you have any opinions on when you create such an incredible track that has such an impact in the music industry? How do you compete with your own track moving forward? Do you feel pressure to create something as special as that, or do you kind of just like leave it behind and you just do your own thing and kind of do whatever you feel like after that?
I think the best thing to do is don't put too much pressure on yourself. It just needs to flow naturally, and that's how we made Wasted. Actually, it was like the idea we got was from an R&B song. It was an a cappella part at the end of the song, and we just took we sampled the end of the track and we created Wasted, like the whole track around it, but we couldn't use the vocals. We didn't get the rights, so we had to improvise, and then we got another vocalist to make like a similar vocal to it.
It wasn't an easy job, actually.
It was really hard.
Okay.
Because it was stuck in our head, you know?
Yeah.
And how does it feel playing it now that you switched it? Do you love it more now this way, or?
Yeah. But we forgot
about the first version. Now it's strange to play the first version, but Yeah.
When I proposed it to him, because he's the really producer in the studio, he said like, "No, it can't be the same." No. And I had something like,
I didn't believe in it.
You were attached to it.
Yeah, and I really believed in the track because we had something like, besides the vocals, it was super good produced and the vibe was really good. And that's something like, we can do that, you know? And then we talked with Rainer Weichholz.
And I'm happy about it.
We talked with Rainer Weichholz, the label manager of Thermal M. And his daughter, she has a really good vocal, nice,
really nice voice.
Yeah, nice voice.
Noemi.
And he proposed that, like, can she try something? And we said like, yeah, why not? But we had something like, it can't be that good as the original one. And then she came with the sample, and we had like, oh, maybe. Yeah. And then we were
like 1 hour was done.
Yeah, and
then we got used to the new version.
Wow, it
and
really sounds the same. And
we never listened to the first version again.
You're traumatized now.
When I listen to it, it's like, no, it's not good.
Well, look, it ended up working out in your favor, obviously. I'm sure the first version would have done the same, but it was obviously meant to be this way.
Yeah.
So, I know that you guys mentioned something about label earlier. So, do you guys want to talk a little bit about something that may be coming up soon that people need to know about you guys?
Yeah, we're gonna start our own label. So, we started the story In Memoro. The label, the album first, like when COVID hit it. Then we came up with the the story, the live show, the concepts, and now it's the next step is to create and start our own label, Memoro, and we're gonna start in May with our own EP, the first one, and yeah, when we were really young, it was really hard to came on in the world, like as a young guy. And now we have something like, okay, we want to push other young artists now when we have our own label, and it's super nice. And a lot of people are now, I want to send demos. It's the other way around now, and it's super nice now, it's another way.
It's also like a logical step in our creative process.
We waited for a long time. You can start your own label when it's really hard to find the big labels, to release it, because it's not always easy. And we had not only lucky, but we had some good connections also with Monika, and we had something like, okay, we want to start by let's show to the world like what we can do, and not just focus on our own label. And now we have something like, okay, we have the big labels, people know us, now we're gonna start our own label, and you can do it right. That's the logical step for us now. So
amazing. Well, congratulations. We're looking forward to this, and obviously all the music that's going to be released on the label. If you could give any advice to any artists that are looking to produce or send their tracks and their demos, which hopefully don't DM too much yet because they still got to prepare, but is there any sort of style that you guys are looking to kind of have like a signature sound with the label?
If you listen to our sets, then it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of energy, power. It has to have like a good drive and a good vibe, but mostly like the drive. Energetic, and we're not melodic anymore. We're not too hard techno, but it's like something in between, I think.
We have
we want to bring something different from other labels, and I think the way we play is also different from how hard techno DJs play or melodic techno DJs play, or like the typical drum code sound. And it's for us sometimes it's hard to find like a good track to play, so it will be really hard to find a good track to release. So producers, do your best.
Yeah, I can imagine. Listening to the music, of course, on my show, we go live. We're not live now, but we go live, and I play all the playlists of music that I'm looking for too. So even though I'm not necessarily mixing live like you guys, I'm putting a playlist together, and I'm constantly going to shows like this, picking out my favorite tracks that I think are really awesome or the unreleased stuff so that I can share it with them. And then they're like, who is this artist or what's going? So I can imagine it's the same with creating the label as well.
Yeah.
If there's any last words that you'd like to say, or any other announcements, any music that's coming up that we need to know about. I know that we're going to be seeing you in Miami at M2 for the Filth on Acid party, so I'm looking forward to that. Any last words?
Actually, we're releasing a track with Alan Fitzpatrick. We did a collab.
We played it tonight.
We played it tonight. On We Are the Brave, and it's called Craving.
We have some really nice releases coming up. We have a remix EP on the album with Bart Skils, Teenage Mutants, Juliet Fox, Alex Stein. We have a collab with Space 92. We have, let me think, what do we have?
We're working on a remix for Monika Kruse, Latin Lovers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the track. But
it's like almost 15 years old or something.
I think older. Actually.
If you listen to it,
it's like 2004.
Yeah.
But it's
you will recognize.
It's crazy.
The Latino.
It's like a tribal techno track with Latino vocals.
And she has to remix it, and it's a really big honor for us because Monika is for us like a really big legend, and for us also the one who trusted us from the beginning and gave us the platform to grow. And yeah, it's a really big honor for us to remix that track, and we're gonna do our best to make it a really, really big hit in the summer. I think we're gonna release it just at end of June, beginning of July. So
amazing.
We're working on it. So I think it's gonna be a really nice one.
Yeah, of course. I believe in you guys. Of course, you guys create beautiful pieces, and I think that's really cool. Again, going back to just all the work that you've done from creating the albums, the music, and then now starting your own label, and especially for people that are, don't have the exposure or maybe don't have the network and connection. I think it's cool that you guys are so cool and obviously open to, people coming and asking you for advice or sending their demos and stuff, because, not every single person in the industry has a label, or not only that, but they also maybe are a little bit resistant to, collaborations like this when it's somebody that maybe nobody knows about that's producing. So thank you so much for what you guys are doing, and thanks for coming to Prague here at Cube Events. Yeah, it was amazing. Nice. It was super, super fun to watch you guys in the set. Crowd was amazing, and hopefully we'll catch you guys soon at On The Rail with Techno Tawsh. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That was awesome. And